You also don't know the Italian word for that, apparently. I didn't say gracias. I said grazie. It's a completely different language. Oh, you're killing me. Oh, no, that's great. I needed that. I really needed that. I was wrong. I might need that fan after all. Happy Wednesday night, everybody. Welcome to Bible study. Brother Rick and I were talking over the last week or two. You know, what are we going to teach next? He's trying to think about where he's going next with Sunday mornings. And I was of two minds, which is never a good thing. I don't have enough for one mind, let alone two. The peanut gallery can sit down. Okay? You don't want to go there. We're not going to throw down. Yeah, he's got quite a bit on me. But I ended up going with one. I did pick one, finally. And this Bible study is sort of timely. Fall. It's still technically fall. I know it doesn't feel like fall out there, but last couple of days. But it is fall, and so we're getting into that hibernation period. I'm a hibernator. Problem is, I'm a year-round hibernator. Okay. We're getting into that time of year, and the daylight hours are getting shorter. Don't believe the lie. Your day is not shorter. Okay, people are saying, oh, my days are shorter. That's a lie. You still have 24 hours in the day. It's just you have less light. Okay? All right. So this is painful for me because this is about me. This Bible study. It's directed to me. But I think it could be useful for others because of the time of year we're getting into. Brother Rick's actually mentioned this a few times in the last few weeks. As a matter of fact, he was just talking about it again Sunday morning. And we're going to talk tonight about, the title is, Oh, Sluggard, Where Art Thou? Do you like that? Isn't that good? Yeah. I thought it was good. Oh, Sluggard, where art thou? Yeah, it did. Okay. I forget you can't see it. I can't see it because it's behind me. Casually, it's about laziness. How many, don't raise your hand. I was going to say raise your hand, don't. How many feel like you have more times of feeling lazy than you probably should? Just think about it. Don't raise your hand. How many of you feel like maybe you get a little more like that as we get into the fall and the winter months? Okay, don't raise your hand. I don't want to know. Maybe you never have a lazy day, ever. And I need to talk to you after church. I'm going to need some pointers or something. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think there are ways around that. Lock them in their room. I don't know. There are things you can do. As long as you take out, all the important stuff and lock them. Anyways, I'm too tired. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. We've all said these words at some point or another. We all have days when we just want to sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean we have the time to do so. We don't all have that kind of time. But there's an attitude about that. Even when you don't have the time because you truly can't stop and slow down, you can bring that attitude into things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We get lost in a book. Yes, it is possible to get lost in a book. I know some people who are reading like 4 and 5 and 6 books at a time. They read a little bit of this one. Do you do that? Seriously? Okay. See, I couldn't do that because when I read books, generally, if I actually like the book in the first couple of chapters, I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night and I don't finish till 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I mean, unless I have to go to work, I may have to quit. I am reading it till it's done. And don't get me confused with another book, because I need to finish the one I am. What if I get the stories crossed? And I'm thinking this character is doing this, but it was really this character over here doing this. Okay? You can spend too much time doing that. Binge your favorite show, or one of my pitfalls, which I don't think I've done this in probably 6 or 8 months, is fall into the black hole that is YouTube. Oh, I'm just going to watch this little clip. It's a 2 or 3 minute clip. I'm going to watch this clip. And an hour and a half later, you're like, oh, I was supposed to go to bed like an hour ago. I didn't do this. I didn't take my meds. I'm not getting out of bed. I'll take my meds tomorrow. Right? Oh, I am the only person in this room that's ever done that? Please. Yeah. That's fine for a day or here or there. I mean, we gonna have a day. You actually get a day off. Sister Jeannie doesn't know what a day off is. That's a thing where you don't have to be anywhere in the morning. Like, you don't have to be at work. You don't have to be at church. Have you ever had one of those in like the last 3-4 years? 10 years? When you're on vacation. Okay. For the rest of us, that might be your day off work, or if you have a flex schedule or something, right? Or those of you that don't work full-time jobs, whatever the case may be. Kids who have a day off of school for, what do they call them now? Do they still call them parent-teacher conferences? Sort of. Or teacher improvement days. Not sure what they're improving, but they do something. You can have one once in a while. But if this is your mindset every single day, that's when we've got a problem. Okay? I just want to be in my bed, resting. I just want to sit. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think about anything all the time. There's evidence there of a laziness problem. Not wanting to take care of the work around your house. See, now this is where it gets painful for me. Because of the IKEA bag full of the laundry that came out of the dryer last Tuesday, as a matter of fact. Not this Tuesday, as yesterday, but last Tuesday. Have you seen that meme that says something like, clothes in the washer, 25 minutes, clothes in the dryer, 45 minutes, time to fold and hang, 7 to 10 business days, right? Okay, right. We laugh about that, but there might be a real problem there. Like I said, it's me. Not handling your church responsibilities. It's my week to clean. I was supposed to clean before the end of day Saturday. I'm here at 7 o'clock, and I'm just not going to do it all. I'm just going to do the surface stuff because I just didn't really want to be here. There's no laughing. Okay. Like I said, painful. Not wanting to help other people. Had this lady at work whose husband, they live in the Bloomington Normal area, but her husband works up in Braidwood and stays during the week in Dwight. And something was going on with the schedule, and he needed some of his diabetes meds. And they've got 2 littles at home, so she was going to have to make the trip from Bloomington Normal to Dwight just to drop off these meds to him. And she said, hey, can I just send them home with you? And he'll just ride down to Pontiac, 10, 15 minutes, pick them up. And I'm like, sure, I'm there. Here's my address. Well, are you sure you want to tell me where you live? Well, what? I mean, it's like I'm going to go into town and meet. He can come in my house. I'm not afraid of somebody knowing where I live. Are you sure this is okay? Like, there's no reason why I can't help you. You're not asking me to buy the diabetic meds that I probably can't afford, right? There's no reason. Sometimes you got to help people, little things. Oh, but I can't do that today because I don't want to get dressed. it's my lazy day, and I'm really not going to get dressed. Do we help people when we're in situations like that? Are we willing to jump out and do that? Basically, disregard any real responsibilities we might have. Once or twice, not a big deal. If you look back and realize it's been the last 4 months, you might have a big deal, right? Just saying, might have a big deal. Brother Rick hasn't quite put it that way, but pretty close. Pretty close. Okay, so we can all agree that too much of this wonderful thing of laying around and being lazy can be a bad thing. I'm not talking about laziness that's due to depression or anxiety or other mental disorders. That's not what we're talking about. That's not my problem. It's just lazy. Okay? But if you have depression or anxiety or other mental issues causing you to be this way, there are counselors who can help you. You just got to be willing to ask for help. Pastor will help you, or he will get you to somebody who can help you, right? I mean, that's not the kind of thing we're talking about here. That's not it. If all you do is sit around and play video games, you come home from school on Friday, and you're still playing the video games when it's time to get up and go to church on Sunday morning, just saying, right? And if it's every weekend, just saying. Proverbs says a lot of things about laziness. Have you finished Proverbs yet on Sunday mornings? No, I'm asking for real. I wasn't sure if we had finished your study or not. So no. I didn't mean that the way Zachary took it, okay? That's not what I said. I think I said something like, are you about done with that study or something? I didn't think I said it in an offensive way. Now, I might say it that way next year when we're finally finishing it in May. Proverbs and John. You'll never be allowed to teach either ever again. Proverbs and John. Anyways, it has a lot to say about laziness. And spoiler alert, it doesn't have a lot of good things to say about laziness. In Proverbs, the sluggard or the slothful man is what we're referring to as the lazy person. Lazy people make excuses. Proverbs 26:13. Now, Zachary, these aren't ones that I'm getting ready to say like 5 scriptures right here, and I didn't give them to you because I'm not going to read them, okay? Lazy people make excuses in Proverbs 26:13. They waste time in Proverbs 18:9. They hate to work in Proverbs 21:25. Lazy people love to stay in their beds going nowhere in Proverbs 26:14. They often consider themselves wise when actually they're not. Proverbs 26:16. Lazy people are not successful people. Let's look at Proverbs 10:4 and 5. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. Another translation says that lazy men are soon poor, and hard workers get rich, right? Lazy people also do not have good judgment in Proverbs 26, verses 13 to 16. Now, when I read this one, it's so funny, because I have to not make the correlation of this scripture to pastor and his going outside during the storms, right, during the tornado season. But that's what I went straight to that when I read this scripture. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom, it grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. Or basically, the lazy man won't go out and work. There might be a lion outside today, he says. He sticks to his bed like a door sticks to hinges. He's too tired to even lift his food from his dish to his mouth. think about the time you were so tired, you've got the bowl of ice cream up here, and you're just barely, come on. It's not, you're not even wanting to do this. You're just holding it up here. You just can't. You just can't even do it. Okay. See, in this scripture, it talks about how the guy is lazy because he's afraid there might be a lion. Why doesn't he just go do work? Pastor's the opposite on this one. The crazy man is out there chasing the lion. Okay. He knows there's a lion and he's chasing it. Even in this state, he still believes that he's smarter than 7 wise men. The lazy person will say things like, oh, it's a jungle out there. It's just too busy. I had to quit. My nerves were shot. It's Friday. No one works on Friday afternoons. Now, I work with at least one person who, after doing this Bible study, is a lazy person. I figured it out. Wasn't sure what the problem is. Now I know what the problem is. They're just lazy. And that one's key. Only it happens, it's Monday. No one works on Monday afternoons. It's Tuesday. No one works on Tuesday afternoons. It's that kind of lazy. All right? Proverbs also tells us he can't get started in the morning. Oh, I can't even listen to this, let alone read it. Okay. Proverbs 19:15. Laziness brings on a deep sleep. Slothfulness casteth us into a deep sleep. Can't even get out of bed in the morning. The sluggard loves the snooze button on the alarm. He just can't drag himself out in the morning. If he's in high school or college, he misses the first hour of class. On the job, they're always late for early appointments. And I feel every single one of these, all right? I don't use the snooze button because I've literally skipped things over it on accident. What I do is I set 4 alarms. They're 5 minutes apart. That's the difference, okay? But I'm pretty sure it's the same concept. Just a guess. I think it's the same concept. Okay. He seems to get a lot of bad breaks. The sluggard just gets a lot of bad breaks. Proverbs 15:19. The way of the sluggard, the way of the slothful man is as an hedge of thorns. The way of the righteous is made plain. The poor sluggard, everything's bad. They never get a good break. Everyone experiences some bad breaks in life, but the lazy person a lot of times brings it on themselves. And they never make the connection between their behavior and the consequences. The lazy person has a victim's mentality. Nothing seems to go right. Wouldn't you know it? The morning of my interview, my car won't start, and I was late for the appointment. But turns out they're the one who never takes the car in for a oil change because I can't do it Monday through Friday when I'm at work, so I got to do it on Saturdays, and I never want to get up and get dressed on Saturdays. So I'm not taking my car in, and it's 20,000 miles later. See what I'm saying? Okay, the consequences. All right. He seldom finishes anything. I think we just need to quit now, and I need to go home. There's a couple of things I need to finish. He never finishes anything. The lazy, Proverbs 12:27. The lazy man, the slothful man, roasteth not that which he took in hunting, because he's not Sister Nichols. But the substance of a diligent man is precious. The lazy man likes to hunt. He likes the fun part, the chase, the fun of the thing. But when it comes to cleaning the game, building the fire, taking the time to roast the meat, that's all tedious. He doesn't want to do that. He starts a lot of worthy projects, but seldom finishes because the fun ran out of it. He's full of unrealistic dreams. Proverbs 28:19. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. Another translation says, but he who chases fantasies will have his fill of poverty. It's great to have ideas. Solomon even told us in another part of Proverbs that where there's no vision, the people perish. You have to have vision for some things. If it weren't for dreams, we wouldn't have some of the modern conveniences that I require. Okay, it's a good thing to have dreams. But the lazy man dreams of the easy money without effort. He doesn't want to do the work. He just wants the good part. He's going to win the lottery, even though we don't play it. He's going to hit the pick six at the racetrack, even though we don't go to the racetrack. He gets rich speculating on futures. And if you want to really make yourself go to sleep, read up on what futures are. I'll put you to sleep real fast. Or he's going to be a famous musician overnight, right? These dreams are unrealistic because they're not preceded by hard work. The Bible tells us that those who indulge in laziness don't have a very bright future, as continued laziness causes a person to fall into debt, which leads to poverty. Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the sluggard desireth, and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. The sluggard wants stuff, but is not willing to work for stuff. It makes sense that if we spend all of our time making excuses, wasting opportunities, sleeping the day away, refusing to work, then poverty is inevitable. That doesn't necessarily just mean money, okay? Think about that. You may be going to work and doing your job and not taking care of anything else in your life because you just come home, sit in the recliner, the kids bring you something to eat, you sit there, you watch TV all night, somebody brings you your slippers, you go off to bed, right? That's all you do. So I don't want to see those smiles that you know somebody like that, okay? I saw that smile, and I'm not looking at you anymore. Those people are still working, but there's a lot of places in their life that there's going to be poverty. Time with their children. Relationships with their children that are gone because by the time they realize it, it's too late. Relationships with their church. You need a church. I'm sorry, but you need us. May not always be pleasant because we may not always be pleasant people because we're human. But you need the church. You need the body. So there are other ways you can have poverty in your life, all right? Doesn't mean you don't have money. I know we tend to think of these things all about money, but money's not everything. I hate to tell you. The sluggard gets on people's nerves. Proverbs 10:26, as vinegar to the teeth, and I'm hurting just thinking about it, and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. Vinegar leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Smoke burns and irritates your eyes. If you have a goof off on your team, everybody knows it, and it irritates those who work hard. Now that sounds like work, but that can also be in church stuff, in life stuff. Maybe in a big family, and there's one person who just wants to be around for the fun parts, but doesn't ever want to, put their time in. Everybody rolls their eyes and tolerates them, but they destroy morale. Proverbs 18:9 says, he also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. They just waste. They're wasting their time. They're wasting money. They're wasting resources. They're wasting who they could be. There's a lot of potential being wasted there. Laziness is not a part of God's plan for our lives. We don't want to be like the sluggard. Instead, we want to be like hardworking ants. Thankfully, I'm so grateful that the scriptures weren't talking about spiders, because then we were going to have trouble, right? The Lord knew that I wasn't going to be able to handle that, so he just equates everything to the ant. Because I have no idea if spiders are good at this or not. Although I have a feeling they are. We get a pretty serious lesson about laziness from the ant in Proverbs 6, verses 6 through 11. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. It's interesting here, too, that it refers to the wise one as the female, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou rise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, but no folding of the laundry. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man. As Christians, we are to work at whatever we're doing as if we're serving the Lord himself. We all know Colossians, right? So whatever you do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Okay. This leaves no excuses for laziness. This is not about rest. Even the Lord rested on the seventh day. And I really think we need to get back to that. We have to find a way to put that back in our theology. I want a Hebrew version of a seventh day. Can you make that work? Okay. There is no seventh day in my life, so that's why I'm wondering. Okay. Jesus, when he was on earth, he rested. He rested, right? Sometimes he even sent people away. He didn't always want people around him. And Brother Zachary says, amen. See, even he's validated occasionally. It's not about taking rest. It's not about taking time off. It's not about I'm at the end of a day, I'm truly tired, and I just want to sit and relax. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about systemic patterns of I'm not getting anything done. So, let me give you an example. About 6 months ago, I bought this little corner shelf that I'm going to put on the sink in my bathroom. For the first 2 months, it was in the plastic on the floor. I looked at it every day. And then finally, about 4 months ago, I picked it up off the floor. No. I left it there. I moved the stuff that was where it was going to be. And that stayed empty for about a month. Then I finally moved the shelf to the sink. It's still on the plastic, but I put the stuff on it. but it's still in the plastic. It's been that way for like 3 months. Every day. Every single day. I look at that because I'm in there multiple times a day. Okay, it's my bathroom. And I think, I'll be brushing my teeth. And I'm thinking, you really need to take it out of the plastic. And it's sad. It's sad. I know I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Can we all be let's just be honest. Ridiculous. If it didn't fit, I've definitely I've missed the return. I waited so long. I've missed the return period. I can't take it back. Thankfully it fits. But it's still in the plastic. So I brush my teeth. And I'm looking at it while I brush my teeth. And I think, I need to take that out of the plastic and set that all up, right? And then the next night, while I'm brushing my teeth, I look at it, I say I need to take it out of the plastic. And then I go sit in my chair with my phone and my laptop, put something on the streaming Hulu or something, and an hour and a half later, it's time to go to bed. Next morning, I go to brush my teeth. I need to take it out of the plastic. People, if there isn't a more perfect example of lazy, I have just given it to you. If anybody wants to come and help me take the plastic off the shelf after church, I'd be grateful. No. I'm keeping it clean. Sister Jeannie, I like that. By leaving it in the plastic, I'm keeping it clean. I appreciate your support, but I don't think that's really the point. I do remember looking at it, though, about 2 days ago, and on the corner, I noticed it's getting water spots on the plastic, and I remember thinking, oh man, that's going to happen if I ever take the plastic off. It's going to happen to the little wiring on the shelf. And I did wonder if I should just leave it on. But, but come on. That's like multiple things. That's starting something you don't finish. That's wasting resources. I'm not using it the way I purchased it for a reason. I had a great idea. This is probably the area I struggle with the most. I have a great idea. I get the stuff to do it. Next year, I run across it, and I think, oh, I meant to do X, Y, Z. Okay? And it's not because I am so busy that I literally don't have time to take the plastic off. But I know when I take the plastic off, I'm going to have to do a few other things. I have to rearrange some things. I have to move a thing here. I make excuses so I don't take the plastic off. Okay, laziness. The ant. How long will you sleep? I don't like ants. I like them better than I like spiders, to be honest. I can handle an ant in my house. I'm not thrilled about it, but I can handle it. Not the spider. And I don't feel like the ants are doing anything wise while they're in my house. I think they're just getting in my way. But there are things to learn from the ant. To be industrious, to be productive. The original title I was going to give Zachary was just like #productive. But I don't think I'm that far yet personally. So I'll leave that for a while. It's not about filling every single moment of your day with go, 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 go. It's about an attitude of, I just don't care enough about it to take care of it. And when that spills over into how you're affecting other people, those of you that have children in your homes, I've seen it. Kids are off doing their own thing, not because mom is excited about them and wants them to be independent, but because mom just doesn't have enough energy to care. She'd rather just sit in her chair and watch her stories. I knew those kids when I was a kid. And it wasn't my house because my mom was always working, but I'm just saying there are people like that. It affects your children. It can affect your marriage. Okay? There are some real attitude issues in our culture. I'm not sure how this happened. But somewhere along the way, people in the United States of America decided it was not good to say that it's a great idea for women to be taking care of their homes. Like somehow that's a form of slavery or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you think the woman should be taking care of the home? Well, I'm not saying it's only a woman's job to take care of the home. I think men should do their part. But that doesn't mean you don't do anything. Because I'm the woman, you don't put me under your feet. That's wrong. It's not biblical. You're the person of your home. Single boys. You're the single boy. You're the single boy. You're the single boy. I was thinking Mark, but he's a hyphen. Yeah, but you're not really a single boy like I'm thinking. You gotta make sure groceries are bought, right? Somebody's doing the dishes. Get ready to lose my voice. But somewhere we've made it's that same idea, Brother Rick, you've mentioned, where they look down on men who are men. If you expect men to be boys, that's now frowned upon. How dare you think they should, not be playing with dolls? Well, of course they can play with the doll. That's not the point. Are they masculine men? Are they growing up to be trained as men? Same for women. There's no reason why you can't be the woman of the house and still keep your individuality. If you married in the will and plan of God, if you didn't, but now you're in church and you've given that marriage to God, God's going to work on him. He's going to work on you. You guys will do all these things together. You will help your wife up the rafters when she needs it, right? Just saying these things. You'll be a gentleman, and it's okay for the lady to show some vulnerability. I don't get it. I remember when I was a freshman in college. I wasn't a freshman. I must have been a sophomore because it was after Ruben had passed away. And so when I went back, I was in this class, and this chick was going off about conservative people who think my mom offered me money to get married. She was living with the guy. They had a kid. That's fine, whatever. So her mom had offered her money. If you will just marry him, I'll give you $10,000. And she's like, I ain't getting married. I don't need no man's name. And I'm sitting there going, what's your mom's number? You know, I would be glad at that time. I'd be glad to take someone's name. It doesn't diminish who I am. It's ridiculous. I totally got off point there. God doesn't approve a lifestyle of laziness. A lifestyle of laziness. Again, I'm not talking about occasionally. I'm talking about the shelf that's still in plastic. James 4:17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to good, doeth not, to him it is sin. I don't have enough voice to finish these notes. So I'm just going to say here briefly, God made us stewards of what he has given us, and he didn't just give you money. He didn't just give you a job to make money. He's given you time. That's my biggest struggle, is being a good steward of my time. If I was a good steward of my time, that little corner on my sink would be set up. But I'm finding too many ways that I'm letting myself waste time. Okay? You're a steward of time. You are a steward of the things you have. He gave you the job to provide what you need. And you purchase things with that. Hopefully you're being wise about your purchases. But then if you don't take care of things, you're not being a good steward of those things. I go back to the car. Never get it serviced. Then when it dies, you have to spend a lot more money, right? Because it's more expensive. You're just not being a good steward. You're not making wise decisions. People aren't always good stewards with their relationships. Family that God has given them. If you're taking your spouse for granted, you need to have a talk with God. You only get one normally. And when he takes one and gives you another, I promise you the second time around, you will not, you won't be the same way with that spouse. You won't take them for granted. Be wise. Be good stewards of what he's given you. When we're being lazy, we're not being good stewards. Mostly of our time, but of other things. I can't talk anymore.